Would you like to combine holiday shopping with a really great vacation? If so, this video is for you. Stay tuned, and if you like our content, be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us to spread the word. My guest today is Ann Marie Gaudet, co-owner of Cruise Holidays Select, located in Markham, Ontario and Moncton, New Brunswick. Ann Marie is an expert travel advisor specializing in ocean and river cruises and has been delighting her guests and clients with escorted vacations and cruises since 1998. Hi, Ann Marie. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk.
Hello, Ken. How are you?
Just wonderful. It's great to have you with us, Ann Marie.
Thanks for having me.
All right. We're coming up to that time of year, Ann Marie, where the thoughts of Christmas and Christmas shopping begin to dance in the heads of our viewers.
Yes, yes.
And I know that there's an enchanting vacation option out there called the Christmas markets in Europe. And I know that you've been on a couple. So I wanted to chat to you today that you can let our viewers and listeners in about this enchanting experience. So
perfect. My favorite thing to talk about.
Tell us more.
Well, I've done 2 Christmas river cruises, and I've got to tell you, the first one that I did was literally 2.5 weeks after my mother passed away.
Oh dear.
So I didn't want to go on it, and my sister was coming with me, and she said, you know, Mom would be very upset if we didn't go. So I thought, well, I can mourn here or I can mourn in Europe.
Right.
And I've got to tell you that the enchantment of the Christmas markets was the best thing I needed. And even though I was in mourning, I still loved every single minute of it. I felt like a little kid at Christmas. Remember when you were a little kid, you know, the night before Christmas, that excitement and the feeling in your tummy? Honestly, that was the feelings I got. In Europe, they remember how they celebrate Christmas like they always have, like in the olden days. So it was very cathartic, but it was so enjoyable. And then I did another one with a girlfriend of mine on December 2019. And once again, the thrill, like just that feeling, I can't describe it, but if you remember when you were a child, that's exactly the way you feel. And the markets are so inviting, and there's so much to see and do and taste that I can't say enough about them. They truly are. I think one of my favorite river cruises is a Christmas markets cruise.
Wow. Yeah. How many markets would you visit?
Depending on where you go. So the bigger cities have more than one market. So when we were in Vienna, we visited 5 markets.
Wow.
So the main one, which is in the main part of the square, which is huge. And then there's smaller ones. So, and there was one that was an organic winter market, Christmas market. So it was, it had all local foods that were from organic farmers. So we got to taste the sausages and all that. So even though there's 5, you know, you think, wow, 5 markets, but every one of them had their own little flavors, their own little differences that was nice to see. So in the smaller towns, there's usually only 1 or 2, but in the bigger cities, there's several in each city.
On a particular Christmas markets cruise, how long are they normally?
You mean the market themselves?
No, how many days would you be gone?
Oh, we were the cruise was 7 nights.
Okay.
And then in 2019, we decided to spend 2 extra nights in Prague, which was so worth it. It was amazing. So, but the cruises themselves are usually 7 nights.
But like you say, that's like a cruise extension that you can put on the front end of your cruise or the back end.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Totally depending on the itinerary, because the problem with our cruise in Prague was we ended in Prague, and if we had flown home right away, we wouldn't really have seen Prague. Right. So it was nice, and Prague is just one of the most beautiful cities anyways. So it was nice to be able to explore Prague, not just the Christmas markets there, but the city itself.
So when we talk about Christmas markets, and, you know, I mentioned in my preamble, shopping. Is this actually something where you could do Christmas shopping?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There are every Christmas market is different, but in a Christmas market, people have their stalls, almost like a flea market here. Like if I could kind of describe it a little bit. So in each stall, they have anything from earrings to hats to muffs to jackets to Christmas decorations. Then there's also the food. We can't forget the food. There's, all the Christmas foods. And one of my favorite in Vienna is they have chocolate fountains. Like it's just a fountain of chocolate. And if you want a hot chocolate, they literally put your cup under the chocolate mountain and then add whipped cream to it. And that's your hot chocolate. So there's so many different things in each market to see that absolutely there's tons to buy. And each market, in the markets, they have, it's a mulled wine, and I'm not even going to try and say the name of it because I can't, but it's a warm mulled wine, which is delicious. And each market has their own cups. You don't get no paper cups. It's a real cup. And each market every year has their cup for their market. And so the idea, I came home with 4 cups. One was in a heart shape, one was tall and thin. Yeah. So that's the thing to do too, is have your mulled wine. Collecting the cups is a great thing when you come back. Great memories to take a look at.
What a great souvenir.
Yeah.
How does a Christmas market's river cruise differ from just your regular river cruise?
Well, the markets basically are the difference. Most of your shore excursions are included in the river cruises.
Okay.
And of course, at Christmas time, they're more focusing on where the markets are. However, they do have some add-ons that you don't have to take, but the one I highly recommend is the one to Salzburg, because that's where Salzburg, that's where The Sound of Music was taped. Most of The Sound of Music was taped. So they show you where it was taped, the different scenes. But they also took us, I did not know this, but Silent Night was written in a little town not far from Salzburg. And so they actually took us to this little town and the wee little church where it was written in. Then they took us to another church where it was played for the first time. And this church wasn't anything special. It was just a plain church, but up on the stage, there were 2 singers that played Silent Night. And I'm getting goosebumps again. It was just such a magical moment to know that you're in where this song that is known all over the world was written and played. And it was magical. It really was. I keep on saying that word, but it truly is, and we sat there and listened and got goosebumps and just totally enjoyed it. Another town that they took us to where they had a Christmas pageant going on. So that's what would be different from a regular river cruise, because of course that it's only on at Christmas time.
Right.
So they had the Oompa Loompa band and they had singers singing Christmas music. And so it's once again that feeling of just being totally enveloped in this Christmas season. And that's the difference. You're still seeing the beautiful sights that you would see on a regular river cruise, but with the Christmas overlay added to it.
Now, normally, what time of year does a Christmas markets cruise begin?
So you have to be very careful because the markets in Europe do not start until after Advent starts. Advent starts the end of November, the last week of November.
Okay.
So if you go, some of them do go a little too early, where you're only hitting the Christmas markets later on in the cruise. So you want to make sure that if you really want to see all of the Christmas markets, don't book a river cruise until it starts after Advent. And then you'll get all the Christmas markets. And then they actually do go till after Christmas. Personally, myself, I would want to go before Christmas because to me, going after Christmas to a Christmas market kind of So basically you have about 4 weeks before Christmas. That's when they mainly are.
Now, in Europe at that time of year, what kind of weather should one expect? How should you pack for something like that?
I suggest layering. They don't get as cold there as we get here. So I found layering worked the best because when you're out walking too, you do get warm. I mean, you're not walking at a real fast pace. It's a leisurely pace, but you still get warmed up. So it's nice to have, what I would have was kind of like a thermal undershirt, then a top like this, and then a over top, and then jacket. So you could take your layers off as you started getting warmer. But honestly, I can honestly say, actually, in our group in 2019, we actually had a gentleman who wore shorts and a t-shirt. Now,
wow.
he said he wore that all the time. He never gets cold. So that was that. I'm not saying that was the weather was that warm, but it's not bitter cold like we feel here. It's just really comfortable. I can honestly say I was never cold.
Wow. Is a river cruise for everybody, Anne Marie? Well, like what type of I guess what I'm asking is it something I should take the kids and grandkids on, or is it more dedicated to perhaps an older demographic?
It is a little bit of an older demographic. That being said, I have been on actually my Christmas river cruise, my first one. There was a family with 4 kids that were on it, but generally speaking, most of the river cruises, it's a little bit of an older crowd. You do have to be careful of your mobility because in Europe, of course, a lot of the streets are cobblestone.
Right.
So if you are, have a walker or are in a wheelchair, it can be difficult. Also on the river cruise ships themselves, even if they have an elevator, sometimes when you're docking, if there's a couple of boats in the same port at the same day, they do what's called rafting. And basically they're tying up to one another. Right. So to get off of the boat, you have to go up top, then across, and then down. And then depending how many boats there are, you might have to do that a couple of times. So if you have mobility issues, it might be difficult for you to get off the boat. Yeah, so it is something to be aware of. So like I said, it can be for everybody, but generally speaking, it's kind of, I would say 45 to maybe 75-ish.
Right.
That seems to be the age that's on there.
Now, if I wanted to book a river cruise, number one, when should I start thinking about it? And when is the best time to actually go ahead and book one?
The best time, believe it or not, is about a year out. River cruise, because it is such a short season, like I said, right. 4 weeks, basically, they get sold out pretty quickly because of COVID and what we've been through in the last 2 years. I'm expecting river cruises to sell out very quickly for 2022 and 2023. There's such a pent-up demand for it. They are sailing this Christmas, so it's good, but people are still a little wary of traveling, so they're not as full as they normally are. But generally speaking, I've booked my 2023 Christmas markets river cruise already. So the one thing about booking farther out too, you have A, usually the best deals, and B, your choice of what cabin you want. But right. I would say at least a year to 9 months before you're going is the best time to book. Yeah.
Well, Anne Marie, that really sounds like a wonderful vacation and the great thing to do in the holiday season. I can't wait to try it.
And gingerbread. I never mentioned gingerbread. Like that, they're everywhere. It's real gingerbread that I always thought gingerbread was just like the little gingerbread cookies, but it's not, so so all the Christmas treats that you have heard about, they're there. So wow. It's just lovely. I just love it. And I can't wait to go on my third one.
You mentioned that you have one going in 2023. Tell us a little bit about it.
I do. So it leaves December 2nd, 2023, and it is starting in Wieshofen, Germany, and going down to Budapest. Okay. So we're going to be hitting Vienna and like all some little towns along the way. So we're going to get a nice flavor because we're going through 3 countries. So we're going to get a nice flavor of the different Christmas markets. Right now, I have great promotional pricing. I don't know how long they're going to let me have them, but now is the time to book. And then it's something to look forward to and get all excited about.
So who are you going with?
I am going with AmaWaterways, who I love. I've sailed Ama quite a few times. I'm actually doing an Egypt river cruise with them September of next year. So they're a lovely cruise line. They're so easy to work with. Their guides are wonderful. Guides really make the tours. And when you get a guide that it can give you the history and the excitement and the real knowledge of what you're looking at, makes such a difference. And their guides are always so good and very knowledgeable.
Yeah, and that can really, really make or break your experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, Ann Marie, that's great information. If folks want to get hold of you about one of these river cruises or ocean cruise vacation, what's the best way to reach you?
You can either send me an email. It's my name, ANN MARIE at Love to Cruise, which is LUV, the number 2, cruise.ca. Or you know what? Even go to my website. All my information is there. That it's www.luv, the number 2, cruz.ca. And send me an email, give me a call, and I'm here to help you.
All right. Sounds great. Sounds great. That's wonderful, Ann Marie. I'll leave all those links in the description.
Perfect.
And I look forward to seeing some pictures and having you back to regale us with your adventures of that next river cruise vacation and possibly the one in Egypt.
Yes. Oh, yes. I can't wait to do that one. That's a bucket list item for me. So I'm very much looking forward to that.
All right. Well, here's a wish for you for smooth sailing on all of your future cruises. And I hope to see you on the Lido deck real soon.
So I hope so too. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
Take care.
And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Ann Marie Gaudet of Cruise Holiday Select. If you'd like to learn more about any of Ann Marie's escorted river cruise or ocean cruise vacations, I'll leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach us, an email to questions@realtravelexperts can find us. Leave a comment. We always respond. Or visit our website, realtravelexperts.com. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this content, a like, a subscribe, and a ring of the bell helps us to spread the word and is much appreciated. So until next time, happy travels.